What's up, nerds and nerdettes, and we little nerdlings all? Your buddy Big Johnny G from Two Gun Pixie Presents Legendary Gaming is back again! And I'm back because you let me in. You clicked that button, thank you very much. Glad I can spend a little time with you and talk about games. I got a game to talk about right now. I got a sci-fi game. It's a game about manipulating the marketplace. It's a game about trading. It's a game about smuggling. And it's a game about trying to ruin it for your buddies. And that game... Star Cartel by Osprey Games. So why don't we get this to the table and check it out? All right, so in Star Cartel, like I said, you're gonna be working on manipulating the marketplace while you are transporting goods and making deliveries and trying to keep a little scratch on the side, if you know what I mean. So the first thing you're gonna want to do is you're gonna need to set up. You're gonna need to set up the board. And I'll go over it, but this is pretty much what it's going to look like. I'll go over why everything is here, what's going on. Okay, why don't we start with the board. This is the market board. Everything's going to be starting in the 3 space. And you got goods, you got medicine, you have food, weapons, energy crystals, and flora. And as you notice on the picture, each one of them shows corresponding token that you're going to be using. So they all start on 3, and that's going to be shifting up and down during the course of the game, depending on what you're taking for deliveries. What you're trying to hoard to the side for yourself is going to determine how you want to manipulate the board. So everything's going to start right there. Now, you have 2 decks of cards. You have 2 decks. We have the shipyard over here. And we got the contraband deck over here. Now, the discard does not start out like you would see in a game like Crazier 8's Marvel Uno or something like that. I just have this here to show that there will be a discard pile. Same thing over here. I'm using the unused ships. I have 2 players set up, though it's a minimum 3-player game. I have the 2-player set up just because it's easier for the camera. So the other beginner ships that I didn't use, I use over here to show where the discard deck for the shipyard is going to be going. So after you shuffle the contraband cards, you're going to take them and you're going to place them out. You're going to place them out in 3 rows of 4 cards each. Now, in the beginning of the game, the very first turn, if you have something that has a 4 on it, you're not going to use that. You'll discard that, and you'll pull another one out in place of that. Because in the very first turn, there are going to be no cards worth 4 points. So you see these cards match up right here to the board. And the number on here, so this will be 2 food items, 1 medical item, 2 flora items, and 2 weapon items. Is the way that that's going to read. So it goes from 1 through 4. Now, after the first turn is over, if any 4s come out of the deck, that's fine. Don't worry about it. That's what you want to see. All right, so now you're going to determine first player randomly. And flip a coin if you want. Last person that saw a sci-fi movie. Who can be who in arm wrestling. I really don't care. And they don't care either, as long as you find a way to pick who the first player is going to be. So you choose the first player, and what's going to happen is you're going to look at your ship, and you see that number 7 right there. Now, starter ships are the lowest number ships, and that number in the upper left-hand corner on any of the cards, ship cards you're going to get, denotes your capacity, how much contraband you're able to store inside your ship. So on your turn, you are able to choose 1 or 2 cards, and they must always be chosen from the bottom row. You choose from the bottom row, you can take 1 card or 2 cards. So if this was the way the game was starting, let's say, you want to take this 2, and you want to take this 2 also. Now what's going to happen is after you draw a card, the ones above it are going to come right down like that, like so. And then at that point, you are going to look and you're going to see that you have not reached capacity. So there's nothing else for you to do. So the next player is going to go. Before the next player goes, you're going to want to make sure that you fill in the empty spots, like so. And then on the next player's turn, he or she is going to do the same thing. and take 1 or 2 cards. Everything's going to slide down, and more cards from the contraband deck are going to take their places. So now this is going to continue until a player reaches, let's say, after a couple of turns. Let's just manipulate this a little bit to show you what could possibly happen. So after a few turns, we see that one of the particular players has reached their capacity. 2 and 2 is 4, 5, 6, and 7. Now what's going to happen is they're going to be able to make a delivery. So at this point, what you're going to do is you're going to look to see what the largest sets are that you have. There's only one item that has more than one card in it. So the weapons right here denotes the largest stash that they have. If there was other cards, such as, let's say, food, you also had 2 food, at this point you would just add up the numbers. So you have more points worth of weapons than you do of food. And that's how you determine which the highest set is. So the highest set is going to get discarded. You're going to take that away. You're going to discard it. But the weapons, look over here. The weapons, this is the largest stash. This is going to move up too. This has become more valuable. Now the lowest set that you have, and if you have more than one, that could be a lowest set. In this case, there are no complete sets, just 3 individuals. Then you get to choose which one you want to smuggle away for yourself. So you look at one and you might want to look at the board, see what's coming up. You might want to look to see what other players have been grabbing, from their contraband to deliver. And you might want to take a guess, and you might think maybe, I think crystals are going to be going up. So these other 2 cards, you're just going to get rid of them. But the crystals, I'm going to keep them. And you keep them face down. And this is going to be happening back and forth. The game is going to go back and forth with loading ships with contraband, trying to store some aside that you think is going to be valuable later on. Now, every single time that you make a delivery, when you are successful with the delivery, you're going to take your ship and you're going to get rid of it. You are going to get rid of it. Bam, every time. Now, the first ship you're going to get to choose from, the number 9 ship, just like your beginner ship, there's nothing special about it other than you can hold 2 more cargo spaces. After each delivery, each player is going to discard. Now, when you're setting the game up, there are going to be some ship cards that say +4 and +5. So if you were playing with only 4 players, you were going to get rid of all the +5 cards. If you were playing with only 3 players, which is the minimum for the game, then you can also get rid of the +4 cards. But you will eventually start to get the ships that you notice here that have symbols. When you get to 11, that's when you're going to start getting ships that have extra abilities. Now, the game book, the rule book, has a page where it tells you what each and every one of these abilities do. Now, the garbage ability, I remember, that allows you, the player, to, at the beginning of your turn, to choose. You can look at a row and you might not like it. Or, maybe you like the second row. Maybe you like the second row, but nothing here is worth anything for you. Well, with that garbage symbol, you're able to say goodbye. Bye, Felicia. And you just get rid of them. Remember, everything's going to move down. Always remember, everything's going to move down. Now, the top replacement cards don't come up until the end of the turn. But this is what you're looking for. And, maybe that is something good. Maybe that's what this player was looking for. They wanted to be able to grab these 2 right away, let's say. You have your own plans. You have your little Machiavellian plots going on. Now, each ship, as I said, is going to have a different ability. They mapped them out here in the rule book for you, all very nice. Kind of wish they had like 3 cheat cards with this on. Now, I say 3 because this is a 6-player game, and with 3, you can kind of like put one between each player so 2 players can share it, between them. Just an idea I had. But yeah, so each ship, as you're going to be continuing dropping goods off and drawing more ships, there we go, you're going to get different abilities. See, the garbage can. The magnet allows your first of the two choices. Remember, you get two choices. That allows the first one you can take from the not first row. You know, if you had that card, then you would have the option to take a look at the board. And for your first card that you draw, you don't have to draw from the bottom row, which is the normal rule of the game. Now, you could say, oh, I really want the medical stuff, so I'm taking that first. And then move things down. So that's what I remember the magnet does. This allows you to manipulate the marketplace. It allows you to move the marketplace down 2 for the highest set that you have and up 1 for the lowest. So that's kind of cool. You can manipulate the marketplace with these ships right here. And the others, I don't remember. They're in the rule book. Let's take a quick look at that. Because now I'm really, really curious, just like you are. Like, John, you can't just show us a couple. This is a how-to play. We need to see everything. And you're right. You do. You need to see everything. You deserve to see everything. So there's 2 others. There's a crate barrel here. When delivering after resolving the largest and smallest sets, you may stash 1 additional remaining set. So if you have more than 1 extra set after that, you get to stash that as well. Kind of slipping that off the cargo hold, I guess. And then the last one with these energy bolts. If you load 2 cards of the same type, you may load a 3rd card of that type from any row in the hub. Any row. So if you loaded these 2 up right here, you would also have the option to take this one from right here if you wanted. So that's what the other cards do. I wasn't going to leave you hanging. Now, that's the way the game's going to play. You're going to be drawing the cards. You're going to be filling up the contraband board over here, the market board. You're going to be drawing ships and replacing ships from the shipyard. And this is going to go on while you are going to be gaining a stash of cards here that you are trying to smuggle for yourself in between your deliveries. Now, the game is going to end when the last ship is drawn. There's a very special ship, the Cassiopeia. That is the last ship. Now, if you notice, from 11 cargo on, you notice that they all had prices, you may have noticed. All the prices. And this is for the end of the game because that's going to be extra points to score at the end of the game. That's why they all have that right there. So when the Cassiopeia is drawn, that is it. The players after this player get a turn, and after that, everyone is going to be looking at their contraband. And the best thing that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to set it up in sets, which of course there is nothing here. So let's just say by the end of the game. Now, in this point, the numbers don't matter. When you're scoring, the numbers do not matter. What matters is the type of card itself. So when you're determining sets to see if you have enough sets at the end for the delivery that are going to raise the marketplace or the lowest sets lowering, then these numbers come into play. But when you're scoring, when you get to the end of the game and you're scoring, it's just the number of cards in each set, not the numbers on the cards in each set. So if this was the case, let's say they had an extra crystal and these 2 by themselves. So at the end of the game, these are going to be all over the place. Some of them are going to be up as high as 9. Some of them are going to be as low down as 1. And the rest of them are all going to be in the middle somewhere. Maybe this one ends up back where it started over here at 3. Now, here's a point, because remember, when you drop the cards off at delivery, the highest set is going to move up 2. The highest set is going to move up 2, while the lowest set's going to move down 1. Remember that. Now, if you get past 9 now, if you got something at 8, you got something here at 8, and that's just going to go up 2, you're going to hit 9, but then it's going to crash. The market on it is going to crash. So you're going to have to keep a good balance during the game, or at least trying to make sure that your goods get as high as possible without crashing. And you, on the other hand, want to try to remember what everyone is grabbing so you can crash the market on them. So at the end of the game, you're going to look at the cards that you have here. In this case, you have 3 medicine cards. So you're going to look over here for the square. The medicine is at 9. So each of these 3 cards is going to score 9 points each. You also have 2 crystals. Crystals are at 4. So each of those 2 are going to be 4 points each. The food is only 1. And the weapons is up to 7. So that's the way this player would score the game. Obviously, beating the space pants off of this player right here. But that's not a fair assessment, is it? No. No, it's not at all. So that's the game, and the highest score is going to win the game. Now, there are rules for ties. There are rules for ties I don't remember. I'll be honest with you, because they're ties. But let's take a quick look, because I want you to know you deserve to know what happens. So in the case of a tie, the player with the highest score from contraband alone wins, so without the score of the ship. If it's still a tie, the player with the highest score from a single type of contraband wins. So if you had the highest score just from this type of contraband here, that would make you the winner. If it's still a tie, the player with the fewest contraband cards, they become the winner. And if it's still a tie after that, who cares? Who cares? It's a tie. You both won. Go get a drink on each other. So that, my friends, Star Cartel by Osprey Games. So you might want to check this game out. This game has a little bit of a take that aspect to it, the way you get to manipulate the market against your players. So players that like take that kind of games may be interested in this. But check this game out. I definitely think it's worth a try. It's definitely, if you see this at a game cafe, take it off the shelf, give it a try. I think you might like it. But let's wait for the review for my real thoughts on all of that. But that, my friends, is how you play Star Cartel. And I am cracking my voice. I'm out of here.